Hey team, and welcome back to the channel. So I know for full moon videos I'm usually over there, but today I'm over here because I wanted to share something with you, a kind of fun update about something that I talked about a long time ago, which was how to calculate or determine the heliacal rise dates of fixed stars. So the heliacal rise dates of fixed stars are something that was like so super location specific that it's very difficult to give kind of a general idea for. And I was really lucky in the past able to find a program that was able to calculate it, to determine it, so I could point people to it and they could figure it out themselves. Unfortunately, the program itself wasn't super user-friendly, so that's what the video was about, kind of making it more user-friendly for people who wanted to calculate it. But now we have kind of an update, something that is much more user-friendly to use, and so I wanted to talk about that. Special shout out to one of my patrons. I don't know if I should call her out, but she knows who she is, who pointed me to this. She sent me a screenshot of like an Instagram comment that somebody did, which gave like very little information. It like gave me enough information to know kind of where to go and look for, but didn't really like answer the question of how this is being determined. So thankfully I was able to find it after like 20 minutes of Googling and translating from a website that was in a different language. But you know, wonders of the internet, we're here now, so let's talk about how to do this. And it's very, very simple. So the program that we're going to use to do this is Stellarium. This is a super helpful program. I use this all the time. It's like an observatory program, observatory planetarium program, and I use this all the time for myself or to teach like astronomical principles in various classes or whatever. But it's a really super helpful program. You can do so much with it. And in the past, when I was initially sitting down to try to figure out how to calculate heliacal rises, I was really confused and disappointed because I thought for sure that Stellarium would have a way to do it. And at the time, I couldn't find it. And so I don't know if this is a new addition to the program or not, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to start up your Stellarium, and then you're going to move over to the side and go to the configuration window. And from configuration, you're going to go to the plugins tab. And from plugins, you're going to go to observability analysis. So on your side of it, this box that says to load at startup is probably unchecked. You'll want to check it. So we're going to uncheck it and we're going to check it back. So you want to check it. And this will make this observability analysis plugin start up and be a part of Stellarium every time you open it. All these plugins here are just sort of like specialized attachments, specialized options for people who are into or who are specifically interested in these various things can go and attach to it without making the program itself, the base program, overbloated. But observability analysis is absolutely something that we as astrologers are very interested in, so we're going to go ahead and turn this on. So after you turn it on, you're going to have to close the Stellarium program and restart it, because remember what we did was we selected the box for the observability analysis plugin to run at startup. So you have to turn it off, turn Stellarium back on, and nothing visibly is really going to change. One thing we can talk about is the configuration for this. So if you go back into configuration and you go back to the observability analysis plugin, you'll notice now that the configure button is active. So before you had selected to load the plugin at startup and before you had restarted Stellarium, the configuration button wasn't there. Well, it was there, but it was grayed out. Clicking it wouldn't do you any good. But now you can click it and it gives you, the settings for it. So you can change the font color and size. I would probably recommend this when you see what the default is. The observing conditions. So one thing we might want to talk about is the horizon altitude. And this is a way for you to kind of adjust it based on tall buildings or tall surroundings. So wherever you're looking at, if you wanted to set this to be a bit more accurate to your own like location, to your own home, if you've got like a tall building beside, like kind of close to you, or like mountains kind of far in the distance, that's what you would change the horizon altitude. You would kind of shift that degree to be able to account for like at what point in a given direction are you going to actually be able to see something. But that's kind of nitpicky here or there, and it's probably not something that we would use Stellarium for just as astrologers, but maybe if you're into like observational astronomy as well, that kind of shift can be very useful. So closing out of that, we go back to our screen here. And this isn't going to be very helpful, so we're going to change this. We're going to turn off the atmosphere, and that's going to bring out the stars. And so now what we can do is we can pick a star. We have Sirius up here, that's fine. We'll pick Sirius. And on the bottom bar, as you kind of scroll over, it'll pop up. You're going to click this little symbol here, which is the observability symbol. So you're going to click that, and now you're going to get this text down here in the lower left, and this is what I meant about like maybe this is something that you want to change. But if we kind of scroll back up here and scroll into Sirius, we can see the observability settings. And this is where we're going to find out our heliacal rise dates. So today the star rose at 7:17. It sets at 17:46. It'll culminate at 12:32. And then it tells you like this year, like information about this year, information about the star is essentially the synodic cycle. How the furthest the sun was away from the star was on January 5th. It's above the horizon on these nights. Under that, we see the achronal rise and set dates. So the achronal rise is when the star rose over the ascendant as the sun was setting. The set is when the star was setting while the sun was rising. After this, we have our dates for our cosmical rise and set, and our cosmical rise and set is for when the star rises at the exact same time as the sun rises. So cosmical sets, the vast grand majority of them, you can't see the star here because the star is with the sun. So the star is either, kind of behind the sun, or the star is so close down to the horizon that it's blocked out by the sun's light as it rises up over the horizon. So cosmical rise set, you can't see. But then we get our crown jewel, our heliacal rise and set. And here we go. Here we have it. All here in, I guess, black and blue. Heliacal rise for Sirius in my location is August 9th. The set date will be May 22nd. So there you go. There you go. And all you're going to want to make sure that you do is you go into your location window, make sure you have your location set for you. And yeah, there you have it. You can just go and check and click on everybody and see when everybody rises. So there you have it. A simple and easy way to get in and see the heliacal rise dates for your location, specifically calculated and customized for where exactly you are on Earth, which is super, super helpful, even with options to be able to adjust the visibility if there's like something in the distance where you would actually be like the first night you would actually be able to see it over like the mountains or the weird factory nearby that's very tall, but you don't quite know what it makes actually, even though you've lived there for 7 years. The good news is that I double checked Stellarium's heliacal rise calculations with the calculations that I was getting from the Alcyone program, and they were like super, super close. Even they were mostly accurate, but very close even when they weren't. So most of the times it would say like, oh, they would agree that happened on the same day, or one would say it was the day before or the day after. So not a huge discrepancy, which is really great because it means that even all this time when we were trying to use the Alcyone software and try to make sense of it, it was pulling kind of the same information that even Stellarium is. So that's very good to know. And now we can kind of shift over to Stellarium for its, it's easier integration, we'll say. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. This is super great. I'm really happy that I was able to share it. So it's really great to have this in Stellarium, and also in a way that kind of easily separates and distinguishes between the cosmical rise and the heliacal rise. Because a lot of times these get kind of mixed up together in a lot of contemporary astrology with the fixed stars. And that's because of a really popular book that was published in the late 90s, Brady's Book of Fixed Stars. It's a really sizable book. It gives a lot of really nice information about fixed stars. But one thing that made it kind of unique was that it included graphs to help people kind of tell when the heliacal rise date of a fixed star would be in their location. And a lot of people still use that. A lot of websites still use that and pull from that. But then in the book, Brady describes that like the graphs aren't actually for heliacal rises, they're for the cosmical rises. So anytime you've like talked about your heliacal rising star at birth or things like that, what you're actually doing is you're pulling up your cosmical rise star. So heliacal rise, cosmical rises, they're not the same thing, and it's great to have Stellarium that can kind of easily show people when their heliacal rise dates are and how and why they're different from the cosmical rise dates. So thank you all so much for watching, and super special thank you shout out to that patron who let me in on this secret. And I'm really glad that I'm able to kind of show it off to everybody so that you can all use it.